Back on the record, 338.
When this was brought to you in your gallery by JoAnn Matouk, did you ask him what this was all about? The side with the sticker?
Not really.
Did he ask you to post this in the gallery window or someplace else in the gallery?
No, he didn't.
Did you ask him why he's bringing this stuff to your attention?
He said he was handing them out to every business on Mack Avenue.
So you saw him go into other businesses as well, correct?
No, I didn't see him.
Well, did he tell you he was handing them out?
Yes, he did.
So the first box on the deposition exhibit 12 says, Bill Matouk, why don't you take a polygraph test to help your own sister's murder? Did JoAnn Matouk insinuate or tell you that Bill Matouk is somehow involved in the disappearance of his sister JoAnn?
I think he did. Say
Well, did
that
you
he's
go into that in some detail with him, why he thought his brother Bill was involved with JoAnn's disappearance?
No, I didn't go into detail.
Why not?
Just didn't.
All right, you know Bill Matouk, correct?
Not really.
You ever go up to his wine store?
I think I've been in once.
All right. Do you know Bill Matouk well enough that you can sit here today under oath and state neither of the two men you claim to have seen on the 12th of January 2010 were Bill Matouk?
Repeat the question, please.
Sure. Do you know Bill Matouk well enough that you can testify today under oath that neither of the two men that you've described on January 12th, 2010, around the cars on Lakeshore, was not Bill Matouk?
I don't know Bill Matouk well. I really
So-
don't know him.
So you don't know if one of the individuals you saw on the 12th of January 2010 by Lakeshore was Bill Matouk or not, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. Did you ask JoAnn Matouk what he believed Bill and Tim Matouk were doing to deflect the truth instead of cooperating with the investigation, as is asserted in the middle box of Exhibit 12?
No, I didn't ask him that.
Did you ask JoAnn Matouk what the heck the third box was all about? Quote, making a murder dash, Grosse Pointe, coming September 2016. Corrupt cops, prosecutors, judges, attorneys, and court officers. Nobody likes public corruption. More Wayne County corruption, unquote. Did you ask what that was all about?
No, I didn't.
Did you ask him what attorneys were corrupt?
No.
Did you take this? Well, strike that. Why didn't you just take Exhibit 12 and throw it away?
I wanted to read what was in it.
Well, even after you read what was in it, why'd you hang on to it?
I believe I had it in my possession, and you requested all of the information in your
So you didn't get to
Your
throw it away
subpoena.
quick enough. Is that what you're telling me?
I didn't get to throw it away quick enough.
Never mind, I'll withdraw that question. Now, I think you've indicated on several occasions today that you wish to keep your identity anonymous. And yet, when I look at the reverse side of Exhibit 12, there seems to be several quotations directly related to the 48-year-old hawk and what the 48-year-old hawk told crime cider. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Did you at some point in time call JoAnn Matouk and say, hey, what's the big idea sending this flyer all over the place identifying me in it?
No, the article was released in July 2014. That article had already been out.
Who wrote this article?
I believe a woman named Stephanie Slifer.
Stephanie,
Slifer?
can you spell that last name?
I believe it's Slifer.
And that would be for what paper?
I believe she writes for a CBS internet news column.
And,
It's called Crime Ciders.
and did you see this July 18th, 2014 article when it actually came out?
I believe I did, yes.
Did you talk to this journalist prior to this publication being publicized?
Yes, I did.
And did you tell her that you wanted to remain anonymous?
Yes, I did.
And when you saw this report that directly has statements that allegedly were made by you in quotations, did you call her up and read the riot act to her?
No, I didn't.
Did you talk to her at all?
No,
Why not?
because I thought it was an accurate article, and my name had already been released by the media.
When was your name, to your knowledge, first released by the media?
I believe it was Hank Winchester from Channel 4, the local station.
When did this journalist interview you for this July 18th publication?
It was shortly before it was published.
Is that quote accurate? Halfway down in the right-hand column, it reads, and I quote, "As soon as I saw the woman sitting on the edge of the break wall, I thought it was a huge red flag. I knew something wasn't right," unquote. Was that indeed a quotation accurately the statement you gave to this journalist sometime before she published the July 18th, 2014 publication?
Yes,
And yet again, even though you, at least at that point in time, indicate this was a huge red flag and you knew something wasn't right, you never called any law enforcement agency on January 12th, 2010 to report that red flag and situation that you knew wasn't right, correct?
correct. I reported it the following Monday to Grosse Pointe Farms Police.
Could I have that read back, please?
Correct, I reported it the following Monday to Grosse Pointe Farms Police.
That is when you, what, went in and gave your statement on the 18th?
Yes,
All right. But you didn't do anything before then, correct?
correct.
Has Mr. Radner told you that he believes you're his #1 star witness in this case?
I don't think he's ever said that.
Well, has he told you, hey, if you're going to move anywhere out of state, let me know immediately, so if we have to try this lawsuit, we can get a hold of you?
I don't think we ever had that conversation.
Have you ever had a romantic relationship with Michelle Romain?
No,
Kelly Romain?
no,
No offense, Michael Romain.
no,
All right. Anybody, have you had any romantic relationship with anybody from 1-800 Law Firm?
no.
All right. Now, I want to get back to this meeting when you were showing some photographs of various individuals. Prior to you sketching Exhibits 3 and 4, did you on your own procure any photographs of any individuals to review to assist in the creation of Exhibits 3 and 4?
No,
Were you ever provided by someone else any photographs to use in assisting you to create exhibits 3 and 4?
No.
At any time before working with you can't, did you ever remember the lady's name yet that helped you with exhibits 6 and 7?
I don't remember.
No, but we've asked you, you said you had an artist, but not a real artist,
She was an amateur.
an amateur. Did you remember her name?
No, I don't.
And that happened at the Abood Law Firm?
No, at the Sweetheart Bakery.
You drew with this artist help exhibit 6 and 7 at the Sweetheart Bakery?
She drew them with my help.
At Sweetheart Bakery?
Yes?
In the company of William Randall?
No.
How long in advance did you meet this artist at the Sweetheart Bakery to create exhibit 6 and 7? Was it before or after you met with Randall?
I'm not certain.
Well, was it before or after you met with the Michigan Police retired artist?
Before.
Before. And this was, to your knowledge, before Mr. Radner and 1-800 Law Firm were involved in the case?
Yes.
Who else was at the bakery when these composites were drawn? That being exhibit 6 and 7.
I believe Michelle and Kelly were there.
Did they assist in the creation of exhibits 6 and 7?
No.
Did they provide you with any photographs of any individuals to review at any time before you participated in the amateur sketch artist's renderings of exhibits 6 and 7?
No.
When you refer to this amateur artist, is this like somebody that sits at the fair or the carnival or Cedar Point and you pay some money and they kind of make a drawing of you real quick? Is that what this person was?
I don't know the woman. I don't know what she does.
Did you get a card from her?
No.
Who specifically asked you to meet at the bakery to participate in this sketch session?
I believe at the time it was Jeff Abood.
How many times besides this one occasion did he ask you to sit for a sketchy session?
Just this, and then subsequently with the professional Michigan State Police sketch artist who's retired.
Mr. Abood was involved in setting that up as well?
I believe so, yes.
At any time before you created Exhibit 3 and 4, had you ever been introduced personally to Timothy Matouk?
No, I don't think I've ever met him besides.
Is it true at no time, at any point in time, have you ever personally been introduced to or met Timothy Matouk?
Was that the same question?
No?
Okay, can you please repeat?
Sure. My original question was, had you been introduced to Timothy Matouk before the creation of Exhibits 3 and 4, and you may correct me if my memory is incorrect. Your answer was no, you had not met him. My next question was, have you at any time ever been introduced to or met Timothy Matouk?
I don't believe I have, no.
Had you ever been provided with photographs of Timothy Matouk at any time before the creation of Exhibits 6 and 7?
No.
Had you ever been provided by anyone any photographs of Tim Matouk before the Michigan State Police retired sketch artist drew his renderings, which are marked as Exhibits 8 and 9. Thank you.
No,
And when did you meet to do the sketches that we've marked as 8 and 9?
2012.
All right, now, refresh my memory as to when it was you met at 1-800 Law Firm to review some photographs in a lineup with Mr. Radner. Was that within the last 6 months? Is that what you told me earlier?
No, I believe it was 2014.
2014? When in 2014?
I believe June.
June? You sure about it? Sure it wasn't in July or August of 2014?
It may have been.
Oh, sorry, what was the answer?
It may have been
Can't hear you,
later.
sir.
It may have been in July.
Can you speak up, please?
Remember, it was in summer,
Could have even been August?
possibly.
Okay. So we know at least as of July 18th, 2014, you had been provided with a photograph of Tim Matouk that accompanied the article that is on the back side of Exhibit 12, correct?
No, I don't think that the original article had that photo in it.
You don't think that the photograph of Tim Matouk and JoAnn Matouk Romain were in that article?
I don't remember seeing a picture in that article.
Well, if the pictures were in that article and you read that article then, you would have seen the photographs, correct?
I don't recall seeing that photo. I believe maybe there was a different internet edition of the article without the photo.
Well, do you remember the article reading, "This could be your neighbor at 22601 Rio Vista, St. Clair Shores"?
No, that's not what the headline of the article was.
Oh, so this was something that was put in by John Matouk?
I'm not certain who did that.
Well, did John tell you who resided at 22601 Rio Vista, St. Clair Shores?
I don't believe he did.
All right. So, sometime in the summer of 2014, you meet with Mr. Radner where for purposes of looking at photographs?
In Southfield, Michigan at the law office.
1-800 Law Firm?
Yes.
Now, prior to that meeting with Mr. Radner, had you already seen sufficient amount of photographs of JoAnn Matouk Romain such that when you met with Mr. Radner, you had already in your mind concluded, in spite of the fact that you had never seen a face, that the woman on the break wall on January 12, 2010 was JoAnn Matouk Romain? Had you already reached that conclusion by the time you met with Mr. Radner?
I believe that, as I said earlier, the daughter strongly resembled the woman that I saw that evening in 2010.
And didn't you also testify that you had seen photographs of the lady?
I believe there was a photo in the
Television?
art, possibly.
And posted at various locations throughout the Grosse Points prior to the discovery of JoAnn Matouk Romain's body. You saw those throughout the neighborhood, did you not?
I don't remember seeing those. I remember seeing her photo in the newspaper article that solicited for information from a Bood law firm.
Nonetheless, by the time in the summer of 2014, before meeting with Mr. Solomon Radner, had you in your mind concluded that the woman that you saw in January of 2010 on the break wall was indeed Mrs. Matouk Romain? It's a yes or a no.
I don't believe I concluded anything. Like I said before, the woman I saw bore a very strong resemblance to Kelly and her sister.
All right, you don't remember explaining to Officer Thompson on the 25th of January 2012 that you saw Mrs. Matouk on the breakwater? You remember we covered that about 45 minutes ago? And if you don't remember, you can just tell me and I'll move along.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember reporting the tar.
Okay. Now, do you remember what day of the week in the summer of 2014 you met at Mr. Radner's office?
No,
Were you compensated for however much time you were asked to come to that office and assist them?
no,
I want to make crystal clear. Has Mr. Radner or anyone at 1-800 Law Firm ever been retained by you to act as your attorney?
no.
All right, so I think you told me Mr. Ari Kirsch was at this meeting as well?
Crash.
Kirsch?
Crash.
How about I just call him, can we for the record agree, AK, as in rifle, AK-47. Let's refer to the head partner over there as AK. Is that good enough for everyone participating in this exercise?
No objection. No objection.
All right, are you okay with that, Mr. Hawk, AK?
Okay.
AK, Solomon Radner, and who else was at this meeting? Was there legal assistant there as well?
I believe so, yes.
Do you remember her name?
Katie.
Katie. Tautus?
Yes.
That's it. Anybody else in that room? Was Michelle there? Michelle Romain.
I think she was.
When she was in the room when you looked at whatever it was they showed you?
I think so, yes.
All right, how about her sister Kelly or brother Michael? Were they there too?
No, I don't think they were there.
Was John Matouk there?
No,
Billy Matouk?
no,
Do you know Kathy Matouk?
no, not really.
Anyone else at that room other than those individuals that we've just reviewed that you can remember today?
No, I think that was all the people that were there.
All right, so when you arrived at the office that day, who first greeted you?
The receptionist?
All right, and did you tell her why you were there?
No,
Did you know why you were being asked to come there that day?
I wasn't sure.
Well, who called you to invite you there for that meeting?
I'm not certain.
All right, so you just happened to drive clear across southeastern Michigan here from Grosse Pointe Woods out here to Southfield to meet with some lawyer who's not your lawyer, but you had no idea what the meeting was about. Is that what you're testifying to?
No, it was in regard to JoAnn Matouk Romain.
What about in regards to JoAnn Matouk Romain? Were you being asked to come to Mr. Radner's office in the summer of 2014, 2 years after you had already given a lengthy 3-hour interview to their investigator? Did you ask them what more they wanted from you?
I don't believe before I got there, I think it became evident that there was the affidavit.
Well, did this meeting in June, we know it was June, was it 9th?
19th?
19th of 2014. Is that the first time you went to Solomon Radner's office?
I believe so.
Was there a second time that you went to Solomon Radner's office?
I believe so, yes.
And that would be later in the summer of 2014?
I believe so.
All right, what I want to know is, well, let's just lay the foundation. For your meeting on the 19th of June, was AK there?
I believe so.
Michelle there?
I believe so, yes.
Solomon Radner was there?
I believe so, yes.
Was Kelly Romain there?
No,
Was Katie Tautis there?
I believe she was.
And was that the meeting when you were asked to sign an affidavit, which you did execute in front of notary Katie Tautis on the 19th of June, 2014?
Yes,
So did you know you were going on the 19th of June to work on an affidavit?
I'm not certain.
Well, isn't it true Mr. Radner told you, Mr. Hawk, we need you to come out to my office to give me an affidavit that we can use to try to defeat the defendant's motions that they filed to get out of this lawsuit. Didn't he tell you that?
No, he didn't.
Well, does that come to a surprise to you today, if indeed that's what Mr. Radner used your affidavit for? To publish with the court? He never told you that?
He told me I had vital information and that the affidavit was being developed. I think there was a couple revisions that I demanded before I signed it.
And did they give you a copy to take when you left that day?
Yes.
All right. Now, when's the next time you got contacted to come out to that office? 800 Law Firm.
I'm not certain.
All right. Did there come a point in time that you were asked to come to the office of 1-800 Law Firm to look at photographs?
Yes.
And that was a whole separate visit other than this June 19th, 2014 visit. True?
I'm not certain if it was.
And it was after?
I'm not certain if it was the same visit that I did the affidavit or it was different.
How many times can you recall going to 1-800 Law Firm's offices as you sit here today?
I know for sure twice.
Has your house ever been raided by the police, by the way, since you saw something on January 12th, 2010?
No.
Has anybody, to your knowledge, been following you around or surveilling you or anything of that nature since you've discussed with the police what you saw on January 12th, 2010?
I'm not certain. There may be.
Have you ever told anybody that you suspected officers of the Grosse Pointe Farms Department of Public Safety were surveilling you? Have you ever made a statement like that to anyone? It's yes or a no.
Not certain. I may have.
Isn't your home located directly across the street from Jerry's Party Store?
Yes, it is.
Did you ever tell anybody, again, yes or no, that you believed you were being surveyed or surveilled or watched by anyone from the Grosse Pointe Farms Police Department subsequent January 12th, 2010?
I'm not certain. I may have.
Well, who might you have made such a statement to, like that? Mr. Radner?
Officer Corbett,
Officer Corbett. Who is Officer Corbett?
he's a police officer who works for Grosse Pointe Farms.
Officer Corbett for Grosse Pointe Farms. Anybody else? And when, by the way, did that conversation take place?
It was, I know it was early in the morning, about 4 a.m.
What date?
I'm not certain the date.
What year?
I believe it was 2014.
Before or after you signed your affidavit?
I believe it was after.
Before or after you were shown photographs?
I believe it was after.
And Mr. Corbett is one of your high school classmates, correct?
Yes.
What did he say, if anything, when you made this 4 a.m. revelation to him?
Well, he knocked on my door at 4 a.m.
And what did he knock on your door at 4 a.m. for?
There was, I believe, a undercover police car that was parked across the street from my house.
And?
And I was awoken by the running engine.
And did you call someone and say there's a car parked outside my house?
No, I didn't.
All right, what did you do? How did you know Corbett knew to come and wake you up?
I was already awake. He came and knocked on my door, and
When was this? What calendar year?
I believe it was 2014.
So what did he tell you when he knocked on your door at 4 a.m.?
He said that the car was an undercover officer.
And they were watching for a particular individual that they went into that party store to try to buy liquor and have it sold to an underage person. He told you that, didn't he?
No,
You don't really remember what he told you, do you?
I do remember.
What did he tell you? That there was a car parked across the street?
He said the car across the street is an undercover police.
From who? What department?
I don't think he specified. I assumed it was Grosse Pointe Farms.
Did you ask him from what department?
No,
And this was what? How'd you know it was an undercover vehicle? Was this a dark Crown Vic?
no, it was an SUV.
An SUV, and it had no identification on the side of it?
No,
All right. So why did you ask him why he's ringing your doorbell, regardless of whether there's a undercover vehicle across the street?
I didn't ask him that.
He told you that, right?
He told me what?
All right, let's go back to the beginning. 4 a.m. in the morning. You're already up. What time did you get up before the 4 a.m. knock at your door?
It was about 4 a.m. That's what I recall.
All right, and you heard a car motor wake you up.
Yes.
And so what'd you do when you heard the car motor? Were you in bed?
Yes.
What'd you do when you heard the car motor?
I think I took a picture of the vehicle.
And you still have that on your flip phone?
I don't believe I saved that.
Why not? It wasn't important to you? Is that why?
Just didn't save it.
All right, so Officer Corbett is on your front porch, knocks at the door, and you open the door?
Yes.
Did you look through the peephole in the door before you opened it?
No.
All right, did you look out through a window or anything to see who was knocking at your door at 4 a.m.?
No, he identified himself verbally, said it's Hawk, it's Corbett, open up.
All right, and you opened the door.
Yes.
And tell me how Corbett was dressed. Was he in uniform?
Yes, I believe he was.
All right, and when you opened the door, what did Corbett say?
He said that the vehicle was an undercover police.
Anything else?
I think we had a short conversation.
Short or not, when somebody that I'm not expecting, when was the last time you saw Corbett before this 4 a.m. conversation? Short as it was.
I believe I saw him at a golf outing in July of that summer.
Is he someone that you socialize with?
Not to a great extent, no.
To any extent? I mean, you occasionally shoot around to golf with him once a year, or meet him for dinner once a year, or go to a movie, or...
We used to be a part of a group that went on an annual golf outing up north.
All right, so there was a group of guys, and he was one of them that went up and played golf at least once a year up north, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, what else did he tell you about this unmarked car across the street?
That's it.
Well, did you say, Corbett, buddy, are you tipping me off or something? Is there something I ought not to be doing? Are you guys watching me? I mean, you've got to agree, that's a pretty odd statement to make at 4 in the morning. Or does that happen regularly with you?
What statement?
There's an undercover car across the street. I mean, you didn't call the police and ask them to come over because there was a suspicious car near your house, did you?
No.
So out of the clear blue, Corbett comes up, rings the bell, and announces, "Psst, I'm blowing the cover off the undercover car. He's across the street." And you didn't react to that at all?
What's there to react to? I mean,
Holy camole. Any other times that you had any suspicious activity outside your home that you believe was related to law enforcement officers or agencies or the United States Armed Services, including but not limited to Black Op helicopters?
is there
I'm
a
waiting.
question? Could you state that in the form of a question?
Sure. Would you read that back to him? Tell you what, I'll rephrase it for him, because I know. How many other times have you observed suspicious activity outside your residential home that you believe was associated with any local, municipal, or national law enforcement or governmental agency? Besides this one time with Corbett.
I don't recall any.
You didn't believe that Corbett's knock on your door at 4 a.m. had anything to do with your observations and reporting of your observations of January 12, 2010, did you?
No.
And was this knock on your door before or after Vince threatened you?
I believe it was after.
Okay. Now, let's go back to the meetings at Mr. Radner's office. Was there a period of time that Mr. Radner or any other member of that law firm showed you photographs of male subjects? M-A-L-E. Yes or no?
Yes.
Before or after your affidavit was signed on June 19th, 2014?
I'm not certain.
All right. Who was present when photographs of male, M-A-L-E, individuals were shown to you?
Mr. Radner, AK. I
Michelle?
believe Michelle and the lady, Katie.
And possibly Katie? All right. Where did this meeting take place? In one of their conference rooms?
Yes.
Was the presentation of photographs of male subjects, was this exercise videotaped or recorded in any fashion to your knowledge?
I'm not aware of that. There was.
Tell me about the male photographs. First off, how many were shown to you by Solomon Radner or anyone else that was present at that meeting?
I'm not certain.
More than one? Less than 5?
I believe less than 5.
About 5. Did anyone at that meeting tell you from where the photographs you were being shown came from?
I don't believe so, no.
Did you ask anyone at that meeting from where the photographs came from?
I don't think I did.
Were these photographs that you were shown individual photos of differing males, or were these photographs all cropped together?
I'm not certain.
Were the photographs that were presented to you in color, black and white, or both?
I think it was color.
Before you were shown any of these approximately 5 photographs, what were you told, if anything, by AR? AK, you're right. AR, those are the ones we make. Ah, sorry. I didn't mean to slander the Russians. Did Mr. AK tell you anything before you were shown the approximately 5 photographs of male subjects? Yes or no?
I believe he said, do any of these,
Keep your voice up. You believe he said what?
do any of these pictures resemble the man you saw that night, January 12, 2010?
Did he make that statement before the photos were presented or simultaneously with the photos presentation?
I believe simultaneously.
Did Mr. Solomon Radner at any time make any statements to you before the 5 photographs were shown?
Don't believe so.
Did Michelle Romain say anything to you before the 5 photographs were presented?
Don't believe so.
Did Katie Tautis say anything to you before the 5 photographs were presented?
No, I don't believe she did.
Were all of the photographs photographs of men?
I believe so, yes.
Tell me what ages the photographs you were shown, the various men, appeared to you to be.
Middle age?
All right, middle age. What does that mean to you such that we can have an accurate transcript?
$35 to $55?
35 to 55. Were all of these photographs photographs of men of the same race?
I believe so.
What race were these 5 photographs depicting men belonging to?
Caucasoid?
Caucasoid. All right. White?
Caucasian?
Caucasian. Okay. Now, did any of these 5 photographs depict individuals of varying size, or were they all uniform in size?
Were the photographs uniform size or?
The people depicted in the photographs.
I'm not certain.
Uncertain today? Did you get a copy of the photographs that you were shown by Mr. A.K. in his office?
I don't believe so.
Before Mr. A.K. asked if you could identify the individual you saw on January 12, 2010, did he or anyone else at this meeting explain to you that they wanted you to try and look at some photographs to see if they depicted the individual you may have seen?
I believe it was simultaneously.
So it was kind of blindsiding you. All of a sudden, I'm assuming you're sitting at your conference table and you're presented with photos and they ask you, can you identify any of these? True?
I think they asked, does this resemble the man you saw that evening on January 12th?
Were all 5 of these photographs depicting men in the same attitude or viewpoint, if you will? You understand my question?
No.
All right. When we look at Exhibit 11 that you produced for us, I would represent to you that this is a frontal shot of JoAnn Matouk Romain. My question to you is, were all 5 of those photographs depicting men in the same attitude, such as all frontal, all right side only, all left side only? Were they all the same, or were some different?
Not sure.
Were they showing individuals of full body view, such that you've described in your statements that these individuals were 6 foot something, etc. Were these photographs depicting men sitting, standing, lying down, waist up only, breast up only, neck up only? Describe for me what you saw in those photographs.
I believe it was breast up.
So they were not men standing such that you could identify or approximate their height, correct?
Yes.
And the photographs that you were shown were such that you could not approximate the weight of any of these individuals, correct?
Yes.
Did any of the photographs depict individuals, Caucasians, with facial hair?
Not certain.
Were the angles of the photographs that you were shown front on, similar to Exhibit 11?
I believe so.
Now, how long were you given? How long were you given to look at these photographs?
I'm not sure.
Were the photos presented to you individually, such that you would look at them and comment either yes or no, or were they all displayed, if you will, across the conference table, such that you could look at them all together?
I'm not certain.
What additional statements did AK make as you were looking at these photographs, if he did?
I think they said, do any of these photos look like the man you saw that night?
Now, you have testified that one of the men you saw that night had a resemblance to JoAnn Matouk. Did any of these photographs look like JoAnn Matouk?
No.
Were you able to identify anyone of the group of 5 that you believe you saw that night?
Yes.
All right. Which of the photographs was it?
I was told it was a photo of Tim Matouk.
So you identified a photo and someone said, "Ha ha! That's a photo of Timothy Matouk." True?
I believe so.
And now, having received that testimony from you, can you now agree with me that you were shown a photograph of Timothy Matouk before you signed your affidavit of June 19th, 2014? And I would direct your attention to that affidavit and page 3 and your statement at paragraph 16.
What was the question?
Can you agree with me that a member of 1-800 law firm showed you a photograph of Timothy Matouk before you affixed your signature on page 3 of your June 19th, 2014 affidavit?
I believe so.
Well, do you believe so or not? I'm going to quote 16, period. now, comma, after seeing a photograph of Timothy Matouk, comma, I can identify with absolute certainty that he was one of the two men I saw on the side of the road, January 12th, comma, 2010, period, unquote. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
And doesn't that affidavit on page 1 specifically state, at paragraph Arabic numeral 1, affiant, i.e. Paul J. Hawk, states that if sworn as a witness, affiant can testify competently to the facts stated herein, this affidavit, and attest that the statements are true. Was that a true statement on June 19th, 2014?
Yes.
And is that true today?
Yes.
So you were shown a photograph of Timothy Matouk before you signed your affidavit on June 19th, 2014. True?
Yes.
No hesitation in your mind, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. What were you told by anyone at that meeting when you pointed out a photograph of Timothy Matouk?
I was told it was a picture of Tim Matouk.
Were you told the identification of any of the other subjects whose photographs you were shown that day?
No.
What was it about the photograph that you were told was a photo of Tim Matouk that you saw that allowed you to conclude that he was an individual you saw on January 12th?
I recognized his face and the sideburns, the way he shaved his hairline.
What about his sideburns?
Well, if I can refer to Exhibit 4, I put high shave line.
At the time you were shown these photographs by members of 1-800 Law Firm, were you also provided copies or the originals of Exhibit 3, Exhibit 4, Exhibit 6, Exhibit 7, Exhibit 8, and Exhibit 9 to compare the photograph to? Yes or no?
Objection, it's a compound question. You got multiple questions you're asking in there, so I don't think the answer could be yes or no.
Do you understand the question, Mr. Hawk?
Could you restate it?
What didn't you understand about it so I can restate it in a fashion that is more understandable to you?
I just got distracted.
Yeah, lawyers are, that's why you pay them, to distract you. My question is, when you were looking at any of the photographs that were being shown to you, were you also ever given your sketches to compare to those photographs? And by your sketches, I'm referring to the sketches produced today. And if you need a minute to look, it's Exhibits 3, Exhibits 4, Exhibits 8, Exhibits 9, and Exhibits 6 and 7, the various sketches.
I believe it was after.
You were shown the photos after the sketches were created, correct?
Yes.
My question to you is, when you were looking at the photographs as they were being presented to you, were any of those sketches present for you to review in looking at the photographs?
Not before I looked at the photos.
Were they available for you to review after you identified the photograph that you were told was a photo of Tim Matouk?
I believe, yes.
Your answer was yes?
After,
After you identified the photo, at that sitting, did you have your sketches given to you? To compare to the photo?
I think after, yes,
But you were still there, it was the same meeting, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And who gave the sketches to you? Did you bring them from home with you? Or did the attorneys have them present for you?
I'm not certain. I think I had a copy of the sketches. Might be either.
Had you given copies of the sketches to Mr. Radner's office before the photographs were presented to you that day?
I believe so.
Did you also give them a copy of the bulletin, Exhibit 5, that has in the upper left-hand corner your very initial sketch of someone?
On the church bulletin, I don't think that was,
Any reason why you didn't sketch the second person on Exhibit 5, the church bulletin?
this is the second person.
All right. There's only one image on either the front or back. Can you tell me why you didn't sketch the image of the other individual that you saw that night on the bulletin?
Just didn't.
We'll take a break. Let's go off the record.
Off the record, 4:39.